I like those people who look at McKenna and they say Mrs. Kegode. I'm just like it? Yeah, that's her. You know?
I think for us we had already talked about it before we got married. So me, I know, you'll be Mrs. Wamalwa. Only for the girl to decide, no, Wamalwa is not enough. I want Curtis.
Changing the name, that's too much work. See, I'll just hyphenate it. So there's that one. Natukiachana.
Yeah.
Unachukua jina zao kwa nini?
Even the officials who are
like why?
doing the paperwork.
What's so special about this? Are they rich? What? I'm like,
Wakapia wanaume tuwaone.
yeah, by the way,
that you lose your identity by choosing that name, but that's not what it is. You're actually growing that identity.
You're almost there.
I want to sit under that cover of even that name, Kegode, to sit under the cover of who my husband is.
What if you're actually doing well? Bado umekaliwa? Like, what if you're prospering? Yeah. What if you're...
Why are you looking at us?
I think that we're doing it together.
Oh, it's all right. 3, 2. Hi guys. It's failing, guys. It's failing. But anyway, guys, welcome to yet another episode with friends. Soila and Curtis with friends. Today we decided to squeeze out as much content from this one because what did you say in the last episode?
Yeah.
They are busy people. They're hard to get. They play really hard to get.
So,
yes, we have the Herds, Ethan McKenna here. You know, last time we didn't even introduce for new people who subscribed and they don't know who our friends are. These are our life friends, guys. Since many years, actually. Ethan McKenna, they have a YouTube channel as well. Just go see Chibet McKenna on YouTube. Yes. I know guys like his videos more sometimes. Which is unfair, yet the channel is on of the channel. Yes, exactly. So you should support her more.
Betty Chebet McKenna meeting. Will you do me the honor of spending the rest of your life with me?
So much for choosing to join me today.
he does fantastic photos, by the way.
Oh yeah, Ahad Studios.
Ahad Pictures.
Ahad Pictures.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Studios because soon he's going to do other things. Music as well. Kadzo and Eddie Waroibo. Hawa ni ma OGs wa If You Know Mothers by Grace and Dogs. These are the people.
Dogs.
Yes. YouTube channel as well, Mothers by Grace. These are the husbands who support Mothers by Grace. They also do their own episodes and all that.
After I went upstairs, I called her like, "You're silly. You're silly." She was like, "Why were you mad at me?" Matter of fact, I had just got and set up my coffee, my trap mug, set up everything.
But in all the production that I've gone to that is done by Mothers by Grace, the men are always there actually. The men behind the cameras and doing the setups and carrying the heavy things. So yeah, in a way, we are friends who started offline and just everybody now has something online. Wonderful, man.
By the way,
It's good to grow together. It's really good to grow together. So yeah, we have a very triggering, not really, I don't know if it's triggering, but it might be to some people, conversation on name change for women after you get married. So all of us are for changing our names to pick up our husband's name. We know the idea.
Two if possible.
2 if possible, yes. Like for me.
ibaki tu moja.
Anasikia nataka kuni rename like everything. Just let me rename you as my wife.
Come on.
Let me give you a new name, my wife.
Sawa, Abraham.
Yeah. What does it feel like, Ethan, to have somebody wanting to take your name? To have her, not somebody, have McKenna.
Want to take my name?
Yeah.
It feels good. It really brings that we are one kind of thing and your mind kind of thing in reality, in perspective. Yani. I like those people who look at McKenna and they say Mrs. Kegode.
Hey.
I'm
You
just
like it?
yeah, that's her. You know, yeah. So it's yeah.
How do you feel?
Bubujika.
No, Bubujika. Wow. Guys, it doesn't know Soila. I'm surprised. So yes, when our friends don't understand Soila.
Don't believe them.
The men's, the
Don't
women
don't
too.
believe everything that is said online by Soila.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like Ethan said, it feels nice. It feels like we're united. It feels like we're headed in the same direction. It just feels like now my rib. It's like my rib being reattached. Come on.
So based on that, you see even how the previous conversation, you have to do the other video to know how we're talking about, you know, when you're driving the car, alafu fuel iishe. See, you just check with the other rib to send nani.
Wow. Did you just do that? Did you just do that?
That's forcing it.
So now addressing the other one for
But it's
the
our
asking
man.
for food, we are asking our rib.
Yeah, for food. Yeah, it's the rib. We're asking if they are ribs.
Wait,
sorry.
Curtis, what did
fine.
do you think was it?
How did I feel?
Yeah, I told you, honey, I would want to.
Honey, come on.
Well,
Can I take your name?
yeah, because I think for us we had already talked about it before we got married. So me, I know, you'll be Mrs. Wamalwa. Only for the girl to decide, no, Wamalwa is not enough. I want Curtis. So she's Mrs. Soila Curtis Wamalwa. She dropped Agnes.
I dropped my English name.
Yes!
So all my names. Oh yeah. I dropped my English name.
Agnes.
Yeah,
So you
Swallow
what was your name
Curtis.
before?
Agnes Soila Soitara.
Oh.
But it was
like-
her choice. I didn't force her. I didn't coerce her.
I like that
She's the one who
Soitara.
decided.
It's
It sounds Italian.
Yani, if I had any ounce of Masai close to me, ningepatiana hiyo jina. Nipatie mtu na
So
Soitara.
mostly
And
I
even
was
the way
known
you
as
named Nani.
Soila Soitara.
Yeah,
Soila.
Yeah.
Teacher Sama.
So,
Yeah, so for me, I felt nice. I was like, it just brought that oneness even more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wanted to ask the guys, does it feel scary?
Yeah.
To do what? For you guys to change your names?
Yeah. Now I'm
because
known
you know
by
it's,
you.
It's more than the name. So does
Yeah.
it feel scary when you think
a
about
finality.
what that means?
Like shoot, she's not mine, man.
Yeah,
Like she's under proper my
have
care.
responsibility over
over
this.
others.
But that's it. I wouldn't say fear. I would just say there's a certain weight of responsibility that lands on you. Because now this is somebody who is literally attached to you. You know, this is no longer a girlfriend. It's and I know she's a wife, but there's another level of responsibility that somebody is bearing your name.
Yeah.
So for me, there was that weight of, okay, now this is,
Official.
yeah, like I said earlier, this oneness has now gone on another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What's
You go ahead first.
the other thing, sorry to cut you short, you know, I don't know if you guys felt that, but now you ask yourself, who am I really? Because this woman has taken your name. So who are you? Who is this Wamalwa that somebody has been named? You get? Like if you look at scripture, name denoted identity.
Come on.
And it was not just identity individual, it was identity of family. Like if you are named after this person, you'd always hear about the father of the father of the father, you know. So now for me, I'm like, okay, so who is Curtis Wamalwa really? That somebody has taken those names.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ethan, I don't know if they're fighting, but Ethan, go.
Oh, my question was, or is, I don't know whether you guys have been in places where other ladies have talked about not wanting to take the man's name. I wonder what is the perspective or what is the thought process that inspires that? Like, have you guys thought about that? Have you ever had that delay or that restraint? And what was the thought process? Like, why?
Like from the people that have, I think there's the divide for, changing the name, that's too much work. See, I'll just hyphenate it. So there's that one. I've also gotten for na tukiachana. Yeah, and I think even some of the pushback that I'd gotten for my family initially was like, but you're already married, like what's the need of changing?
Yeah.
Like
everyone
you
knows
have to change everything, it's so much work. But I felt like behind that there was an undertone for why if we separate, because I remember after going through that whole process,
it was tedious.
I remember telling Eddie, baby, natuachani. It's just no. It's atuachani. Because I can't go through that. I'm trying to imagine like undo my name. I'm like, unless you choose to go the Tina Turner way, like maybe take everything but just stay with this name. But I think, so that those were the two groups of women that I've encountered, and there've also been people I remember, because Soila and I did ours at the same time. People would ask us, unachukua jina zao kwa nini?
Even the officials who
like why? What's so special about this? Are they rich? What? I'm like, yeah, by the number of people said,
you remember wakitungoja kwa station waoneane
it was a full office.
Like guys, like, because you have to, like, the number of documents, like you have a letter of consent, like let's say Ethan approve that Nani will take my name. So then they're like, oh wait, you've taken this person, like, seriously. I remember there was a time when called, I was going to say, a relative called a friend to ask if they can help. And the friend was senior who could actually help with that, and the lady was like, but why does she need to do that? It was like, see she can just hyphenate, it's too much work. And for me, I was like, for someone who's more city mature, like an elder,
should advise you.
I thought you'd know and understand the significance of taking your husband's name. So, like, one of the things that I know for sure is, let's say if we had land and God forbid your husband would pass, I'm not going to say mine. Someone's husband would pass. The one thing that people can come and say, this is not Nani's wife, because you have their last name. But if you're like Kadzo,
they can ruka you.
They can say, we are tumjui. You go to court, you have, I think there's a story of a lady, same thing. She had her marriage certificate and everything. Even the marriage certificate, the family was saying, no, these people had separated. You know what saved her?
The name.
She had changed her name.
Very interesting. I think for me, what I felt, I said, I want to do this, I'm excited, what, I'm going to be called Amalwa. But guess what? I grieved losing my dad's name.
You did?
Yes, there was that grieving. I'm like, Kai.
You didn't tell me that part.
I told
you're hearing now.
I think I told you.
I don't know that.
For a moment, the same way when
At what point
the same
did you
time,
grieve?
it's the same way I grieved when I got married, and then I'm in my house alone. Curtis is at work. I'm like, you mean I'm married? You mean I can't just get up and go to my mom's house without asking consent from my husband? I'm like, Kai, what have I gotten myself into? Those are the moments I'm like, now this is the next level of grieving. Literally, slowly by slowly, I am living what I used to know. Like, I didn't read Soila, Agnes Soila Soitara. I'm going to be a different person, different name. I was very scared. One, I know because of those fears that you're talking about. I'm like, what if eventualities? Eventualities. I'm like, no. I don't want to think like that. But either way, am I happy to change that name now? Am I okay? Am I satisfied? Why? Because I already trust him. I trust the person that he is. I trust we both will be faithful to the covenants that we give to one another.
Come on.
And it's the same way. You know how people normally get into a marriage and then they sign prenups? I think it's a way of covering your behind.
I don't fully trust
you. And for adventure, you decide to step out. I'm secure. I'm like, God, I decided to get married. I'm getting in full head, full body, and everything. I give myself fully to this person, even if it means to change the name. I think for me, apart from grieving, and it took a long time when we were going these stresses of name change in the government offices. I was like, ni lazima kweli.
Maybe it's not meant to be.
Because the government can't sue
Lazima
us.
kweli. Over here,
Hey,
there's a mama who
give us
just
a
took
hard
us
time.
round and
She had
round
her documents for 1 year.
for 1 year. But I think if you're dropping name is harder, but if you're not dropping a name, it's easier. Because it's just going to the registration of persons and all that.
It's not the same.
Is it?
I can't remember.
But Chantal was just easy in and out and she has no really.
She does.
She
How's this finished?
She wasn't dropping anything, just to get a
Hey.
surname. Yeah. She would say Juicy, like last year. So, after grieving, but you see, you've committed. Why decide halfway and then why decide? Like, this is a person that, one, we have children together.
Yeah.
Two, I have given my body to you.
Hey.
I have your children.
What is her name?
What is a name? What is really a name? Even beyond thinking of property and thinking of all those things.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I can trust you with my life and live with you and sleep with you in the same bed and close my eyes and openly
not
talk
worry.
about finances and not worry that you will turn against me, surely, then why am I really holding on to such a name? And I think for me, it came full circle. I was like thinking, I am fully transferred from the oversight of my father to my husband, Curtis. Like, I'm now fully embedded into the covenant of this marriage. Now I'm covenant till, Kitambo used to do blood covenants. Yukata, something like that. Now me, I'm like, it's a form of name change here. Now I'm like fully,
It's true.
I'm under your care, sir.
So let me ask you a
Okay.
question. So what came first? Soila, even Kadzo. What came first? Is it the sense of security? You felt secure, and that's what made you feel comfortable with changing the name? Or was it changing the name that made you feel secure?
It starts like the security aspect of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't have conceived the thought of changing the name if I didn't feel secure. 100%. I was like, no, I don't feel safe here. I don't think it's good for me to change the name and all that. So just the security itself of knowing that it's okay, and then going through the process despite the challenges and all that, you still pull through and desire to have the name. I think for me it's just everything was just solidified in that, and I'm like, we are building a legacy together here.
Come on.
It's easier, man. It's just easier. We are one. We are one for me. So it's more. I know people think it's a physical thing, but even spiritually, I know things. The day we got those Gazette notice, I could not believe it. I'm like, what? It's here? And the government, formerly known as, has now renounced her name. She's now, I was like, wait. It's official.
So guys, no more Agnes.
Yeah.
Who is Agnes?
No more
Formerly
Agnes.
known. Who is
Actually,
Agnes?
I don't know who was calling me my previous name. I told them, I can sue you.
No more Beatrice.
No more
Yeah, no more
I'll sue
Beatrice.
you.
Hakuna bito hapa tena.
I'll sue you.
But
It's interesting you said that you grieved your dad and your name's your
dad's name.
yeah.
So, I've not changed my name yet, but I would like to.
Yeah.
And for me, unfortunately, how it came, I was like, he's dead anyway. So let me just change.
Yeah.
But then I realized it's not the right reason
To change.
It's not the right motive.
Yeah.
It can't be that is what is inspiring
Yeah.
me to. So what if he was alive and I wouldn't change it?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you said that because for me it was like doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter,
There's
yeah.
no that meeting
Yeah.
does not exist anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had to check my motive.
Really, it's like easily can say because he's gone. This is the only thing I have left of him.
That
Also,
that
has like I want to hold on to
yeah,
that.
that also.
But
Yeah.
but
Me,
you also
like me, I didn't have my dad's name.
No, you didn't. Actually.
Yeah.
I did. Mine was my mom's.
That's your mom's name.
Yeah.
The last one.
Yeah.
Your mom's. And then for me, another inspiration is my mom is actually called Soitara. I'm like, madam, her ID is Nairesia Soitara. And I'm like, you changed? So me, my mom, everybody in our house has the same ID name. Like, I'd love that. Because it took after my dad's.
Yeah.
You're saying something.
she hadn't finished.
Well, for me,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have my dad's name because my mom decided it's her name because she's the one who raised it.
Yeah.
So like for me and my mom were obviously best friends because she had me when she was young, so we grew up together. Literally.
Yeah.
So I knew that for me it's always something that I had purpose to do it, although I just delayed it for something. I'm like, no, but what if? You know, Kanza, like when I don't know me when I started with Ed, I'm like, hey, my mother is still single.
I can go back
Like,
to
yeah, I can go back to my mom's house by the way.
What
I
a
said,
threat.
stress.
What a threat.
I said, this man wants to kill me.
Yeah.
Na hata labda we've argued over nothing.
Yeah. You're just exhilarating.
I was just like, this guy, he's
doesn't
gone.
know.
He's at his gone. He's watching. No, I'm sure he's looking for another woman. You know.
Overreaction.
Overreactions of that.
So I held on to that because of the what ifs. And I think if I go back and think about it, it's also because I grew up in a single parent home. So I don't necessarily know what stability is. I don't know
Security.
Stability,
Yeah.
security, and what a healthy relationship look like. Like, do couples fight? Are they supposed to fight? Like, what fight is too big? Yeah. So eventually, changing my name, I knew I had, like, that was a crutch. So choosing to change my name was also me telling myself that, you know what, I married the right person.
Come on.
And I know that even if iko sana, even if saa zingine tu anania fake, anania bo tu, I asked myself, like, do you love this person? Do you believe that he cares about you? Yes. Do you believe that he's going to be with you and your children? Yes.
Nothing else matters.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I actually realized for you, babe? You didn't inherit your mother's name. You inherited your grandfather's name.
Yeah, because the mother's name is the grandfather's.
Yes, you inherited your grandfather's name.
Yeah.
Or her dad's name.
No,
Mom's dad.
Mom's
My
dad.
dad's name.
That's the one that changed.
There's a question I have for you guys.
I also had a question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, first finish your question.
Okay, Eddie.
So can I say my question?
Yeah. After I ask,
Surely.
let me say and then you say. Okay, but you can say.
Okay, let me say.
Wow.
So let me ask. But because you guys are deep people, I mean, you guys are spiritual, deep people. Do you think something happens spiritually when you shift from the identity of your father to the identity of your husband? I know we call it, we talk about, identity changes, now you belong to this lineage and blah, blah, blah. But do you think something happens spiritually that has a manifestation physically? Either immediate or in the long run? Don't know if that question was clear enough.
I think it is. I remember there was a clip by Miles. I wish I knew it was somewhere in the internet. And he was talking about name change. And he was saying, I think there was a debate whether women should change or hyphenate. It's like, yeah, you can hyphenate if you want. Sorry. You can hyphenate if you want. But he was saying how once a woman takes your name officially, what that signifies is that your husband, for lack of a better word, like owns you. Or
how do you ladies feel about that?
Wait, for lack of a better, I don't know.
The ownership thing.
It's not.
I think it's
not like that.
It's more of an under protection.
Yes. Because
under their cover.
And
yeah.
He was saying how if anything was to happen to you, and if God was to come down today, God will ask. It literally goes back to Adam and Eve. Like when Adam and Eve fell, God didn't go to Eve. He went to Adam first. Like this woman is.
Yeah.
So that's a significance where it's not, there are prayers that your husband will make over you that nobody else can do. And I believe that's what shifts. There's that authority that you fully give him because you're telling your husband, I am yours. So I know that there's that when you tell yourself when you say I've taken your name, it's I'm giving myself to you that you may lead me. That if there's a problem, ideally, I don't go to anyone first before I come to you, because now it's like you've taken out your crown and placed it on your husband too. Nani. That's how I see you holding on to you letting go of your name and taking your husband. You take out your crown, you put it on your husband's lap, and it's for him to put it back anymore.
Your question ties into what I was going to ask, and it ties in this way. You see, the change from your parents or your father's name into your husband's name has an impact because there is honor in your father's name. You get? There is something that you always felt about your father, or at the very least, your last name. For those that don't have there's something about your last name that gave you an identity.
Yes.
It gave you some sense of
belonging.
purpose, belonging.
Yes.
It had some anchoring for you. And now this change is coming to set a different standard for that. And the thing that now I believe is that that transition, that name change touches a special place in your heart. Or said in another way, it touches a special place in your mind that mentally, yes, I can give you all my finances, I can give you my body, I can give you this. But if I can't give you my name, if I can't take your name, there's just like a part that you've not yet touched.
Yes.
You get? And I think that conversion is very important because part of our premarital study, we talked about living and cleaving. And even the Bible talks about when the two shall become one. And another place in scripture, it talks about whether a man shall leave his mother and father's house and be united to his wife. It's that aspect of uniting that I'm talking about. There's like a special place that it touches that when you choose to do it, you feel there's a place it's touched that I discover something about myself that I need to deal with. Or if you choose not to do it, there is a place that you've not really touched. That maybe there's a conversation over there. But again, I'm also coming from the place where I am for it. I am for it. So there'll be all kinds of arguments as to why it has been But for me, it's when she takes my name, what it means is that the fact that she has my name, she carries quote unquote my glory. Or there's a crown that there's something that she carries from me.
A wife is a glory to her husband.
Exactly.
And then if you
no, just flow.
I think also when you combine how the Bible says that marriage represents the relationship between Christ and the church. Now, if you want to do anything in the spirit, you don't go with your name. You go with the name of the Jesus, of the head, of Christ, or the groom. So if you put it in parallel also, in marriage, the authority is not your name anymore. It is the name of your groom, or the husband, or the head. So I'm just trying to see if in the spirit I have an authority through the name of Christ, and I like what you mentioned when you said authority, then that means also here, in the natural realm, the authority of that name is the name of the husband.
Because it's the next level of agreement.
Yes.
There's such a deep divine power. There's a finality. It's like when you go before the Father in the name of Jesus, there's a finality in it. When you represent yourself as a wife before people in the name of your husband, there's a finality to it. There's such an
a weight.
I was going to say, I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but whenever you hear Mrs. Somebody Like now, when you hear Mrs. Wamalwa, compared to here, okay, let me use my wife.
Yeah.
When you hear Mrs. Warwimbo versus Kadzo feels kademu.
Mrs. has a weight.
There's a stature.
Yeah.
There's a stability to it.
Yeah.
You know what? I think even with daughters, I know people might be triggered even by just that.
It's okay.
So you mean just by my name, I don't have a weight, I don't have a stability?
Oh, you
Women
do.
will come for that.
Yeah.
But I think just the name Mrs., as you have said, the weight and all that, comes a lot of responsibilities. Like it's somebody who's picked up a responsibility of, caring and nurturing a marriage. Marriage is it's an institution that really needs a lot of dedication, a lot of responsibility. Not anybody can actually thrive in it. Not everybody. Many have come out of it. Fortunately and unfortunately, So I think just the term misses, and I think sometimes that's why the society even respects that that level, because you've picked up another responsibility and there's so much to you than just you being a single person. Even the Bible says itself, is it Paul? That as a single person you have a lot of time. So he says that you don't have much. A married person has a lot of things to worry about. But for you who's single, there's still more opportunity in serving the Lord. So I just think, as you're saying, just to affirm your point, the weight of responsibility that comes with getting into that institution really, really sometimes commands respect.
Yeah, there's an analogy I have in my mind. I hope you guys will be able to maybe help me explain it or even understand me. But there's this quote or this saying, I even posted it sometime, that you don't get to choose your family. You don't get to choose your family, but the one person you really get to choose is your spouse. Your spouse. You don't even get to choose your children. Again, and this is so. I feel like when you completely make that transition of even taking that name, you are walking in revelation of your identity in your own understanding. Because there is that revelation for when you chose to get married to Eddie, there was you believed it, you saw it in God that this was purpose, and now choosing to even take that name is this identity that has been revealed unto you that you are conforming to, because now you're literally now expressing, you're no longer your mom's daughter, you're no longer your father's daughter or father's son. You are a person who has chosen to take this oneness, this purpose of oneness, and now you're actually even expressing your own identity in that marriage. And most people
thank you for saying that.
People would think that you lose your identity by choosing that name, but that's not what it is. You're actually forming, growing that identity.
You're almost there. You're almost there. I'm just waiting for you to.
Now you say it. You finish it.
So I love what you're saying, because there's the assumption that and you have actually said it beautifully. The woman is not dropping her identity to pick the identity of the man. Your identity comes from God. So what happens is when you're taking this man's covering, basically the covering or the name that you're taking is supposed to create an environment for you so that your identity is able to be manifested and springs forth. So when they say that the two shall become one, it's not that you're leaving your identity to join this man, to take this man's identity. It's that your identities are being brought together. And then the marriage creates the environment for your identities to flourish in one vision and one purpose. But your identity comes from God, not your husband.
It's true.
Okay, because if we say it comes from your husband, it means all women who are not married have no identity.
Yes.
We can't say that. So, Pastor Ethan, thank you. Tutaweka paybill watuve sadaka.
It's the last part of living, living into clean. You've left in all the other levels, and as far as financial.
I'm really enjoying this conversation, because to me it's really bringing a lot of light of what it actually means to be married. It's not. I don't know why people look at it as losing yourself.
Yeah.
Yet it's a place of actually of much, you know,
Unpacking yourself.
This is one thing that every married person will always tell you. You do not know yourself until you're married. You have no idea until you get married.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And it might be used in the world in such a different way, but in actual reality, a lot of things are really revealed in that environment. Yeah.
I have a question for the ladies. There are women, and I'm throwing this question deliberately to the ladies. Yeah, it is safer if you handle it than us. There are women who would say, all that is patriarchy. You've heard that language. Eh? They say, oh, itu ni kukaliwa. You know, women are just being taught to be subservient to men and blah, blah, blah. And there are even those who will say, we know of married couples who have not changed their names.
They're fine.
And their marriages are doing well.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what do you guys have to say about that?
Yeah.
I think marriage is very personal. It's a personal experience between you and God. And a lot of perceptions that you want to project is based on some of the experiences that you've had. If for the longest time you felt offended by a woman taking up a man's name, I mean, address the source of the offense.
Yeah.
Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people just have blanket statements just for the sake of being we are in this group of women who believe. Why are you in that group? Could it come from a place of actually hurt? Did you see a certain representation of it in a warped way? So for women who are offended, because I think it comes from a place of offense, and you're angered and you cannot believe what Ethan has just said. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Your identity, yada 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 yada.
He's part of the problem.
You know, he's part of the patriarchy. Yes, you know, you need to address where such statements are coming from. Also, it's not like I've seen some of the best examples in as far as covering responsibilities and all that, but because of the Christ that I have not let culture, in a way, inform some of my decisions. I've allowed Christ to go above the
What is that?
One part of my throat became dry. Culture statements, culture stuff to really inform certain things that should be informed divinely. Yeah. So I think for me, it's check in with God first if you are a believer and understand. But it's the same thing they say: don't give if you don't have the understanding of what giving is all about. Because you might be giving and your heart is not even there, and for sure God does not even bless that one.
Yeah.
The same thing. If you don't fully understand this aspect of name change,
don't do it. And
you really want to understand it, like what does it have? What impact does it have over me, over my family, divinely? Because I mean, if our life is to be like Christ-like and to express Him, His person and His nature, you know, if it has any impact, let me then understand it. Instead of rebuking everybody who's doing it because of their own understanding of why. And now because you don't understand their understanding, you go and rebuke them. I think that's very selfish. I just think that's very selfish. And you should not group people as you women who have decided to be sat on. Umekaliwa, lose your identity. The only thing that is to you is a missus. I'm like, you see, people are projecting their own fears.
So I think for me, just to add is, and even just on a personal level, the reason why I accept that the name is good to take.
Come on.
Which name are you taking, by the way? Kegone. No, not. Oh, not animals.
I'm always told you that's not my name.
It's the English version of
I know. I'm just saying that's
your father's name.
Yeah, that's my father's name.
Yeah. So for me, what inspired is the fact that is what it means to take Ethan's name, And I think for me, first I made peace, unfortunately, with the process, how long it is. I was like, even as I wait to start that process, because I want to drop and pick and all of those things, I want to sit under that cover of even that name, Kegode, to sit under the cover of who my husband is, and then build what is ours from there. And I like what you said. It's because even in conversations too, even not name change, when people talk about marriage, they always feel like wewe kama mwanamke umekaliwa, like what is submission, how does that look like, and all of those things. And I feel like until you have a personal conviction about what that looks like, I mean, your submission could not look like mine, I believe, in some instances. So unless you have that personal conviction, like you said, first of all, keep your mouth shut, or try to understand where this is coming from, what is informing someone changing their name, and we need to ignore or like let go of this blanket that when you take the name, you no longer exist.
You no longer exist.
Yeah.
You know this whole story of kukaliwa. What if you are actually doing well? Bado umekaliwa? Like, what if you're prospering?
Yeah.
What if you're actually making impact?
Yeah.
What if you're actually moving the way you're required to move? And not just you as a woman, but you and your spouse.
So
your movement.
there are results.
There are results.
Let me tell you, in fact, if anything, I feel like this is a devil's scheme from hindering people from actually experiencing the full, the full blessing that is marriage.
I like what you guys are saying, because when I think of this topic, one of the questions that I'd ask someone is, like, what if you choosing your husband's name is you telling yourself and your husband every day, I choose you?
Hey!
What
Choose
if
me,
that's
babe.
what it is? Even when your husband has just, because when you're married, you know what you people do to each other. Sometimes you guys just vrugana for no reason. But like, what if it's, I choose you every day?
Come on.
And even as we're talking about submission, I think, let me just read a scripture and then I can explain what I'm thinking. So in Proverbs, obviously 31, she gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plan the day's work for her servant girls. I'd like to just please note, she had servants. I think that's a part.
She wasn't
So
struggling.
these are person of stature.
Because her husband was where?
At the gates.
Listen. She
The
goes
city
to
gates.
inspect a field and buys it with her earnings. She plants a vineyard. She's energetic and strong, a hard worker. Then she makes her dealings are profitable, her lamp burns late into the night. What I like about this, it shows submission.
And honor.
Really,
Proverbs
Proverbs 31
31
from
Verse
15.
15.
For you to be able to, like, there's a time I was reading it and I thought, this woman, her husband, she has her own money, which is, their money. But for someone to go buy land and be banake, by the way, this is the land that we bought, and then she does something, it means the husband has fully trusted that she has everything she needs to make an informed decision to grow the family's wealth.
Hey.
And that's what submission looks like, where I'm able to, while my husband is doing this, I'm able to do this there, because you've come together to divide and conquer. So taking your husband's name, and it's when I feel like when I changed my name, Eddie was like, hey, now we're married, not like we were yet. But there's that weight where you feel like, for this woman to let go of what she's called her home, and to embrace what is my home, then I know that I can trust this woman to go with me and build and do whatever it takes. So even submission won't be iyo ya kukaliwa. That's why this guy is saying it's not biblical. Because this is what submission looks like. Submission looks like trust
and empowerment.
Yes.
And you know, I like the way you said she is able to go with the man and do things. And going with the man doesn't necessarily mean that she's always with the man everywhere. It's that you guys have one vision, and like there's
It's
such
about
a unity
letting it-
that I can be at the city gates, you can be,
the fields.
and we are all
We are still going the same
the same
direction.
direction.
Because sometimes submission feels like you're behind the man.
Unafuata kila
Yes.
mahali. That's what
What
people
he says
think.
you
But
follow.
it's together.
It's one vision.
Even whatever the Proverbs 31 woman was building, even as she was going to invest and do all that, it was not for her own gain. Ni story ya cheki kenye nimeka mtu kadu. Uko pale umedu, niko hapa tumedu. It's us.
Yes. The husband is proud of her. The children call her blessed. And all that. Like it's everybody has experienced.
Look at that.
Yes, they are.
Impact ya coordination ya our really is seen in the children.
Yes.
They are
And
the
in, and
ones-
in society.
Exactly.
Society.
Yeah.
The
Look
guy
where
is
it's
known
seen.
Yeah.
because of how much she's given herself to this vision. But yeah, anyway, we should have another conversation next time for submission.
Yeah, I think submission is a whole thing. As you guys were
Another
talking, I was
trigger
just
Many things are coming.
Yeah, and I'm like, do we really have time?
Yeah.
So guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. As you know, the magic things you're supposed to do: like, comment, share, subscribe, and of course the new thing we've added. Enda pale kwenye Google www.soilancurtis.com. You can see our website there and everything that we are doing that is going to be of interest to you. So guys, thanks a lot for coming through.
Hey,
We'll do this again next year.
Do this again.
Right?
So umesikia. So if you see no friends are coming, you've had her. So
just support my content and
Talk to
practice
her.
alone sometimes because it's them. And let me tell you guys, we always hang out together like quite often.
Yeah.
But
The
to shoot,
recording.
no attack.
That's where we draw the line.
all right, so guys, cheers.
Bye.
Peace.